I'm so excited to introduce and present the world premiere of Tickled, a new documentary from New Zealand as part of our World Cinema Documentary Competition. My name's Caroline Labresco, and I'm one of the senior programmers. Greatly privileged to be working largely on documentaries and scouring the world for great films. So I won't say much, just that this is a film that really grabbed us. It's a great story, something that begins as just a curiosity and becomes a very deep, humorous intrigue with serious overtones and undertones as well. So please, I'd like to welcome some new filmmakers who've never been to Sundance before, a really talented team from New Zealand, David Farrier and Reeve.
Hi, my name's David, and this is Dylan.
Hi.
I don't have too much to say, just thank you so much for coming out tonight. I know it's pretty cold out there, but I guess that's pretty normal for Sundance. It's very hot in New Zealand at the moment, so this is a bit of a shock. But thanks so much for coming, and I hope you enjoy the film, and we'll do a little Q&A afterwards. Dylan?
Yeah, I just want to say how excited we are to finally be able to show this film to people, because it's something we've been working on for a long time, and there was periods of time we had to keep quite quiet about it. So it's really exciting to finally see it out of the dark room.
I hope you really like tickling.
Thank you.
I think we all like a little tickling now and then. Enjoy the show. Please turn off your cell phones.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Chaffee, an Associate Documentary Programmer at the festival. Please join me in welcoming back to the front filmmaker Dylan Reeve and David Farrier.
Hello, thanks for coming.
I'll go start it out with the first question. What was the biggest challenge of translating this complex investigation into the medium of film, most of which took place through the space of the internet?
Yeah, the fact it all took place online was a bit of a nightmare because it was so much, it was all just messages and emails flying back and forth. So I think telling that visually was just lots of images of me and Dylan driving around. All emails flew back and forth.
The story also started a little bit before we started filming, which made it a bit difficult because we had to kind of quickly get up and going when we weren't quite prepared. I think things took off a little quicker than we imagined they would.
Yeah, when they said they were flying 3 people from New York to New Zealand, we knew stuff was getting real then, and we should probably start filming what was happening. Because until then it was legal letters, and I still didn't know what it was. I thought it was maybe a print article or a little item or something. So, but when they decided to send 3 people over, which was super strange, it was really odd. It was the weirdest airport pickup I've ever done. Yeah.
Cool. Any questions in the audience? Right
there?
there?
Yeah, what is the time span from when you first found the video to that sad stepmother conversation?
That first Facebook message was April 2014, and we left the US after the bulk of our shooting in January 2015. So that whole story took place reasonably quickly.
It was 2 trips over to the States to kind of sort things out, and yeah, things shifted a lot and changed a lot, but I think we got it across, Dylan, I think, did we?
Right. There's still things we don't know. There's questions we don't have answered that maybe the answers will become apparent now. But.
Is David D'Amato here, by the way?
There's a chance we thought he might be.
Yeah, we thought he might be. Is he here?
Or anyone who knows him? Anyone who's been sent by him?
No, there's a high likelihood that someone in the audience has been sent by him, because that's what he does. He hires people and he sends them to do stuff for him. He's got a lot of money. All his interests are one thing, tickling, and harassing people. So there's a high chance this probably is someone that he knows or has corresponded with here because he wanted us in the film, and then we may or may not hear from him. We'll find out soon.
For example, at the end of the film, we find all those documents, which really went down the way it's showed. It was insane. But as far as we know, he doesn't know we have those documents.
Yeah, and I mean, we'd It was mad. I mean, it was literally, there's 300 websites. We went through all 300 just to see what was there. And a lot of them were dead links, a lot of them were just various tickling sites or harassment sites or that sort of thing. And then one of them would just literally have my documents. And then it wasn't always open, but at one stage it was open.
We could always see the list of the files. They were always there tantalizing us, but we'd click on them and they'd say no. And then one day we clicked on them and it opened. And then we quickly downloaded all of them because we didn't know when they would happen.
It's crazy. I mean, it was, I don't know if you'd switched servers or what had gone on, but like those documents were physically indexable on Google. You could Google a document and it would pop up in a browser. And so we just grabbed them all, and yeah.
Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Reeve.
Has the FBI seen these documents? Have you shared them with law enforcement?
No one has seen this yet. The problem is nothing he's doing, at least as far as we can tell, is specifically illegal. There are some laws that cover harassment, but the people, as far as we've been able to determine, the people who are being harassed would need to make a complaint, and it's pretty hard to find the right people to take that stuff seriously or to investigate. So no is the answer. We did try and reach out. We did try and reach out earlier in our production to the FBI. We tried to get an interview with the people who had been involved the first time around, but they weren't interested in talking to us or even really listening to us.
I like to think they will be now. I mean, he's advising people to come in on tourist visas, and he's paying
them cash.
There's issues there, so we'll see what happens really. But the idea of making this documentary was hopefully to get this out in the world. So if there's some kid there who's thinking I could do with an extra $2,000, let's go tickling, they maybe go, maybe we shouldn't do this.
Possibly right now. It's Sunday, isn't it? So very possibly right now they are in Aruba doing another tickling shoot. That was what they advertised on their Facebook page most recently.
They were in Australia about a month ago.
They've been in Europe recently. They're still tickling.
Go ahead.
I have about 1 million questions, but did you ever find out what the relationship was between those 3 people they sent to New Zealand?
I can explain who they all are. The tall guy, the tall grey-haired guy, Kevin. He is essentially the producer of the videos in Los Angeles. So he runs the shoots. He's the contact guy. Marco is the photographer. So he is a photographer. He shoots stills and video at the tickling events. And the other guy, Adam, is a former participant and is now essentially a PA. So they said they'd send management from Jan O'Brien Media, and those were the 3 guys they sent. And that they basically, we've shortened the conversation, but that whole conversation that we had with them and subsequent conversations, the thrust of it all was making the film's a bad idea and it will cost you financially.
But they obviously have some more of an understanding or some sort of trust.
They were big about how much they knew about the logistics of who this guy was, and if they thought they were working for Jane, or it was just a guy but not that bad, and to be honest, I'm still a little blurry on it. I think Marco, whilst quite threatening, the sort of the calm sort of guy, calm guy, I think he thinks it's all probably fun. I think Kevin probably knows a bit more.
And Adam probably is just along for the ride.
Yeah, free trip to New Zealand, like, why would you not?
They flew first class and spent, I think, 5 nights in a 5-star hotel. So
they had a great time. They had a great time in Hobbiton, one of our main tourist destinations.
Other questions? Right in front.
One of the hardest things in a film like this is getting a balance right between the humor and the horror. I'm just wondering, as you're putting the story together, how you set that balance. But more importantly, when you're doing a film like this, you never know where it's going to end up. The story might dwindle. When did you know you had a film?
Well, in the earlier part of the production, we weren't sure what the story we were going to tell was. We thought it was just going to be an investigation. We were going to lay out all the characters involved. Because there's a couple of other people we found out about that we haven't mentioned just because their story didn't tie in directly to the story we were telling. But we thought originally that was what it was going to be. It was going to be an expose on this company and the top-down hierarchy of how it all happened. And as we got a bit further through, I think we learned that it was a more complex tale, and we found some fantastic talent to help us tell the story historically, which meant that we went for a wider sort of historical overview of this person and their activities online and the the repeated patterns. So I think that was, and yeah, I think that was it became quite clear to us pretty early on that was the path we were going to have to take through the documentary.
Yeah, and the ending's tricky because, I mean, what do you want from D'Amato, right? Like when I went up to meet that guy, I replay that conversation a million times in my head because should I have been more aggressive? Should have I pulled out some documents we had or some sort of proof, are you Jane? That sort of thing. But I didn't want to. I just wanted to sort of talk to him and see what he was like and what he was about. And he was just the most, just straight to the legal threats. It was just that. It's like, I'll see you in court at some point.
We did have media visas as well. We still do. we can film here. We're allowed to.
Surely the producer wasn't foolish to warn you.
All right, other questions in the back? Yeah, go ahead in the back.
First, brilliant journalism and standing up for bullies, just absolutely wonderful. I grew up 5 miles from Garden City, went to a neighboring high school where he was assistant principal. This is New York. This is an Italian in New York. Are you worried about being shot?
That's the other thing. I mean, I think...
You walked up to a guy in Starbucks without a mace or...
No, and I'm glad in a way that you are thinking those thoughts because that's exactly what was going through my head as well. Because I've never met the guy. He communicates through other identities and other people that he hires to do his bidding. So I had no idea what he was going to do.
This
So
guy's like 4+ crazy. I mean,
yeah, completely.
Yeah.
And I mean, the other thing that Kevin said, and it was a whole other sort of topic that we didn't get to, but he said, D'Amato is linked to Senator D'Amato, who he told us is a very unsavory senator, big family connections.
He's not.
He's not. So, the constant line between bullshit and what was real was just constantly fluctuating. But at the end of the day, when you're meeting a guy who's got a lot of money that you don't know a lot about, it was scary. I mean, I'm a fluff journalist,
Sure, none of there's no money coming from mafia or anything else to help.
There's nothing we found that points in that direction. Like
It's the lonely old guy with a lot of money.
lonely old guy who's inherited a fair bit of money and has the opportunity now to pursue his interests, which is wonderful. We all wish for that.
Also,
Other questions in the back?
I'd like to mention, in the audience, we do have Hal and Debbie, who are the 2 journalists who originally looked into the story, and also Dave Starr. So I don't know if you want to stand up for...
Much easier for us to tell the story.
Yeah, and just unlocking the history of this stuff was just the most utterly bizarre thing, because it was just patterns. Nothing's changed. It's like 20+ years now,
Someone back here?
Are you planning on sharing this with the victims of D'Amato's online effort?
We want ultimately for it to be seen as widely as possible. So whatever that means, however that comes about, if it comes down to it.
You mentioned you talked to 100
We've talked to a lot. We found a lot of names. There was a lot of we could find from videos and websites and things. We talked to a lot of those people. Many of them refused to reply to our emails. Some of them just said, "Go away, I don't want to talk to you." So, we hope that they'll hear about this and realise that it's relevant to their interests.
Yeah, but they,
it's hard to reach out directly.
I'm friends with them on Facebook now, so even leading up to today, I've had people messaging me saying, let us know how the film goes, what the response is, what's going to happen. So they're curious, and I imagine now it's out there, I imagine there'll be people, because he's been tickling for 20 years now, right? There's going to be a lot of people who've been tickled, and will now go, oh, that's what that thing was.
The other thing, it's kind of important to note, is that there are many people who go and do the tickling thing, they get their money, they fly home, and nothing happens, they're fine. A video goes online with a fake name, and they never hear about it again, and they don't have to worry about it. But then for some reason, some people find themselves targets.
Usually when they say no to something.
Usually when they say no to doing it again, or when they don't reply to an email the way that he wants.
Other questions?
It's one of
Go ahead.
Is it possible when you shot him on the street and he didn't want to be shot, is that okay to show?
I think broadly speaking it is. We've obviously, the nature of the film means we've spoken to quite a few lawyers about it and gone through it with a fairly fine-tooth comb. We're confident that everything you see in the film is legally sound. So yes.
And he may not want to be in the film, but I didn't really, that's okay with me.
All the way in the back. Yeah.
Did they ever offer to pay
pay you off in any way?
Yes, the answer is yes.
We should have taken it, Dylan.
The problem was not specifically enough. When they came to New Zealand, they told us, because at that point we just finished a Kickstarter, we didn't raise very much, it was only $25,000 for the initial sort of investigative phase. They said they'd help us refund the Kickstarter backers. Now if they'd said they'd help us refund the Kickstarter backers and buy us new cars, we might have thought about it, but that was all they offered at that point.
We're joking, we're being dead.
No, of course
Kiwis.
yeah,
there was
never a
very
specific offer.
There were very subtle allusions to, yeah, we'll give you some money and you can just back off.
There was one over here that's been
Yeah, go ahead,
for a while.
Did you feel like you knew that was the end of your hunt, so to speak, when you spoke with the stepmother? Were you like, we kind of, now we know the guy, like now we know the story? Was that?
I mean, there was literally, he's got no friends, he's got no family left. She's literally the only one that's got this insight into him. And so I felt once we talked to her, at least we got an insight into why he perhaps is like he is. And I think that's one point, because I mean, you do have to sympathise with the guy in a way. I mean, he's had a pretty terrible time. And he's the opposite to Richard. You've got Richard Ivey, who's this out and proud gay man who's loves tickling, and he's very open about it, and he was just so happy to be in this film. And then you've got, David D'Amato is living in the one time in history where it is okay to do pretty much anything. He could be doing his thing openly, and he's not.
Other questions? We have time for a few more. All the way, back up there.
So this guy, I mean, he's pathetic, but he's also a predator. And what he's doing, it's not, people have been hurt. And in your estimation, in your investigation, what magnitude of people have been harassed and seriously hurt by what he's done?
It's hard to say because it takes different forms. So in the first sort of iteration that we know about, which was Tickled, Terry DeSisto Online, was news groups, and that what would happen there is that there'd be spam emails sent out to people with videos and things like that, and it also took a very physical turn. VHS tapes would turn up at people's parents' houses and at their schools, things like that. There were, we probably found a good dozen or so cases from that period, and I'm sure there's plenty that we didn't hear about. And then later on, Jane O'Brien, I think I can remember there was about maybe 30 to 50 domain names that we could find that had been registered at some point with clearly a person's name. So assuming that was the main way that was happening, then maybe 30 to 50 that way.
And then, I mean, you look at the number of, just from the recent 2 years iteration of Jane O'Brien Media, we sucked all the videos down into a hard drive. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of videos, and in each video there's up to 5 guys. And so all of those people, it kind of ripples out. And so I've got those videos sitting in
I have 800 tickling videos if anyone's interested.
Any final questions?
Yeah, babe.
Yeah, sure, right there.
Me kia koutou mō tō mahi nui. Fellow Kiwi here, I'm just congratulating both of you on the very large brass ones you own.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
David, you're very well known at home. And your offside is going to be as well, and this comes out at home. And we look forward to seeing it. Speaking only as an individual. So my question is, earlier you spoke about having to have some secrecy about the release. My question, again, I suppose obviously answered, but what are the things you had to do, and what have you done, and what do you continue to do to protect yourself and your families from this predator?
The main concern was I suppose legal. What we didn't want while we were trying to get the film made and finished and seen was a slew of lawsuits, because that would make it very difficult for anyone to want to show it. They don't want to see that sort of thing. And so we were quiet so that sort of thing wouldn't happen, and it hasn't. We've heard nothing, as we say, we've heard nothing since the end of filming. So I think we just didn't want to be too, hey, look at us on just didn't want to attract attention.
Yeah, it was to the point where we went completely quiet on updating our Kickstarter backers, because there was a chance he'd back the Kickstarter and any Kickstarter update we did would immediately alert him. So we wanted David D'Amato and his colleagues to think that this whole thing had just sort of died out and that it wasn't coming to anything, and then sort of give them a bit of a surprise.
So, yeah, so we could finish it in peace, basically.
Yeah, because it gets pretty annoying when just new legal threats turn up all the time. It's irritating.
Even when they're from fake lawyers.
Just super quickly as well, our whole crew came over from New Zealand, so we've got our dear Don. It's been a real weird couple of years, really, and I'll never tickle another living thing again.
Okay, thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.